today's conversation, we would want to know when did you first realize that you wanted to be a writer, and how has your creative journey of being a writer evolved?
Yes, it all started in the childhood, Avantika, as for most of us, you are sitting by the windowsill one summer day, in a place like Srinagar, a beautiful view through the window, and you're just enjoying that view, and something catches your attention. It could be a bird in the sky, it could be a cloud which is wafting by, right? Or it could be a story in a book, which happens to be the very first book you happen to read, right? So it was a day, a beautiful summer's day. I think I must have been 8 or 9, uh, when I think I was in the midst of this beautiful short story by Rabindranath Tagore, of course, an English translation. The book was given to me by my father, who taught English that time. And I was drawn, I was like, I was hypnotized by that short story. And then I kept on reading, like most kids do. That's what we do as kids, we read. Sometimes we read textbooks, or sometimes we read uh, a storybook or a book of poetry, or an art book for that matter. And I think I must have scribbled something in my journal. I think as kids, most of us keep journals, right? These days, I think we maintain diaries on our laptops, or maybe a note, and we maybe email it to us. But those days we used to have this notebooks, copybooks. So I continued writing almost on a daily basis, and I think I realized very early on, maybe because of my father also, he said, look, you should discover the joy of reading and writing and painting and music and nature. So, so these initial uh, suggestions came from my father, and a little bit from my grandfather also, he said, whatever you do in life, don't pay that much attention to mathematics and sciences. He said, in his own quintessential way, he said, you should study the arts, humanities. It took me many years to understand that. I think what he was saying, the meaning of what he was saying. He said, you start with arts, you will fall in love with the world of physics and mathematics and numbers. I think a time comes when we are drawn to nature and poetry and music, Avantika, right? I think a time comes in our life. Uh, so I think I'm right now at a stage where I really enjoy reading and writing and music, and the arts and the theater and cinema. And these days, it's very easy because we have this cell phone. Of course, it's bad as well because we are over dependent on it. It becomes an addiction, but we are exposed to this. Then we have this window to this fabulous world, right? It has wildlife, it has history, it has arts, music, it has entertainment, it has everything. And this cell phone has this. So those days, I think the only thing we had is maybe a book, or so. We had a few pencils, a few crayons, few paintbrushes, and we had all the time. These days, we don't have time. We have everything, you know. So it started with that. And then my dad said, he taught me, because he taught poetry as well. So he taught me initial. My mom was a teacher in a school that time. So she taught me Hindi poetry, my grandfather Urdu. So it started with that. But I still did not know what I want to do in life. But my dad said, whatever you want to do, you can become anything. For a career, eventually you will do some job or the other, right? Uh, Whether in government or private, but always keep reading and writing. That was the suggestion which stayed with me. So it started with that. I think it's still his advice. Uh, I'm still surrounded with that advice every day. I keep on telling that to myself. No wonder how the days come and go.
Mhm.
There should not be a day which doesn't go by without stopping by a line of poetry, or maybe one line. You might just one single line. It might take hours. So I think that we call that a meaningful day, a productive day, if we. So it started with that, Avantika. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, absolutely.